New SKUs, new sizes, new performance, new prices? Here's all you need to know about Google's upcoming smartphone line, with a few extra goodies sprinkled in there too. Hey guys, I'm Ryan Thomas and there's a lot to talk about here, so let's get unpacked. Oh wait, that's Samsung's thing. Every mainstream slab Pixel, the 9, the 9 Pro, the 9 Pro XL get the following. The same new colours, the same Tensor G4 SoC with Titan M2 security chip, the same main and ultra-wide cameras, the same new 45-watt fast charging, finally. The same Qi charging, the same base 128 gigs of storage, the same 7 years software updates and Pixel drops, the same Pixel VPN, and the same build materials and IP68 weather resistance rating. Oh, and they will also launch with Android 14 instead of 15, surprisingly. Let's jump in by talking about the new Tensor G4 chip, which Google claims is 20% faster for web browsing, 17% faster for app launches, is designed for DeepMind and Google Gemini, and there's a lot being said about AI latency and speed with this new chip and improved RAM on the Pro models of the Pixel 9 this year. The main concerns with the previous generation of Tensor chip have been performance, power efficiency and cooling, so we'll see just how much quicker it is when we get to really push it to the limit in our upcoming reviews. But so far, it's all about AI, so surprise, surprise. The 9 looks like a pretty solid phone this year with a very similar set of base specs to last year's model in the size and the screen dimensions. It's still a 120Hz OLED but is a hair wider, and Google claims is rated for 300 nits brighter in HDR content and 700 nits brighter in peak brightness. Impressive. It's definitely the worst display of the three on paper here, but if it's anything like the Pixel 8's panel, it'll be a peach nonetheless. Google seemingly left the 50 megapixel main camera on here from its predecessor, but has bumped up that ultra-wide sensor to a slightly larger one at quadruple the resolution of the Pixel 8. It also looks like the 9 selfie shooter will be the same as last time around too, which isn't a bad camera by any means. Its cameras are all capable of Ultra HD 4K at 60 FPS, with the fancier video modes being reserved for the Pro models. And Google's Super Res Zoom, which uses AI to upscale pinched in images, is limited to just 8 times in stills and 7 times in video, where the Pro models will get more reach. The 9's battery is a smidge bigger as well than last time around, which is going to help it last longer, and the faster charging speeds over the 8 will no doubt please as well, though you are going to have to buy that 45-watt charger separately, because that's exactly what everyone wants to do. And the Pixel 9 comes in at $799 US for the base 128 version, with the 256 version available also, though we don't have pricing on that just yet. The Pixel 9 Pro is the new model in the lineup. Many of the bigger Pro's benefits in the form factor of the regular phone. Yes, not only is the display high resolution at almost Quad HD Plus kind of thing, but being LTPO, it can go all the way down to 1 Hz and up to 120 to preserve battery life. It's also rated at 2000 nits HDR and 3000 nits in peak brightness, which is considerably brighter than last year's phone, and of course the regular 9. It weighs pretty much the same and has the same dimensions as the regular phone, sharing the same battery size. The main and ultra-wide cameras are also very similar, though this time, in the smaller model, we're somehow getting a 5 times optical zoom, which very much looks like the same specs of the Pixel 8 Pro's long-range shooter, though we'll have to really test it side by side to see what it's capable of when we do our full review, so get subscribed for that. Also new here is a 42 megapixel selfie camera with a wider field of view than the normal model, Super Res Zoom up to 30 times on that rear sensor, and 8K video recording at 30 FPS on the rear cameras, with Pro modes and high-res shooting, all of the Pro stuff reserved for the Pros. And so there's a fairly big distinction between this and the regular 9, giving you a reason to pony up the extra $200 for it. It's $999. Not only that, but this phone also gets 16 gigs of RAM instead of the regular's 12, but would also get 512 gig and 1 terabyte models alongside the 128 and 256 versions. Though I must say, 128 gigs for $999? Really, Google? Either way, this is the phone I'm really excited about. I love small phones, and getting those specs in that package, hell yeah. The biggest phone of the bunch is almost identical to the 8 Pro in its dimensions and weighs just 8 grams more, but with those flat sides will feel quite different. It shares the same upgraded RAM and storage, charging speeds and camera specs across the board as the regular smaller Pro. However, it also features a bigger battery at 5060 mAh, and though it's still an LTPO OLED that can do 1 to 120Hz and has the same brightness ratings, It's half an inch corner to corner larger and has a slightly higher resolution that ends up being a pinch softer in its pixel density compared to the normal model, though at this size you're very unlikely to actually notice the difference in sharpness from the 9 Pro to the 9 Pro XL. I'm surprised that despite the seemingly same internals as the 9 Pro, the Pro XL only has a slightly larger battery, though we will have to see just how far that takes it when we do our full review. Oh, and this phone is $1099, making the Pro XL $100 more than the normal Pro for the same storage configuration. If you like big phones, this one is looking like it could be a top 5 or even top 3 phablet this year. Bring that word back. But we'll wait to give our full verdict when we've pushed this thing to its limits. But Google isn't done there. Anyone want a new foldable? No, didn't think so. Anyway, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold comes in at $1799 and offers a bigger, brighter set of displays than its predecessor, a taller and thinner profile, more RAM and of course the new Tensor G4 SoC, a slightly smaller battery with fast up 45-watt charging, and exactly the same rear camera cluster despite the new stacked look, that I don't really like the look of, to be honest, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. The selfie cameras have been upgraded and they're now identical 10 megapixel affairs, which should make your selfies look a bit better, I guess. I'm not sure just how many people are really going to want to spend $1,800 on a Pixel Fold, especially with the same rear camera stack as its predecessor, but I guess we'll see. Let's talk watches. Google said its current crop of timepieces are being used by millions of people, and so it's excited to launch its first watch in 2 sizes to cater to many people. This time a 41mm and a 45mm option. The bezels come in 16% smaller with apparently 40% more screen. And speaking of, these will be adaptive from 1 to 60Hz and from 1 to 2000 nits of brightness, making them substantially brighter than last time around. There's been a push for better fitness and health tracking from Google with these new models, and they have a claimed 40% more accurate heart rate sensor that uses machine learning to be more precise. That's beyond me, if I'm quite honest. There are now readiness scores, cardio load and target load metrics that sound pretty similar to what Garmin and Samsung are doing with their watches, and you'll get a morning briefing of those things when you wake up, just like Garmin's implementation. And I like how Garmin does it, so hopefully this is a good option too. The Pixel Watch 3 will be available at $349 and $399 for the 41 and 45mm variants respectively, with an extra $100 chucked on there if you want LTE connectivity too. These could be pretty good and actually look quite promising on paper and in person. I look forward to really trying one out long term. The company has also announced a new set of earbuds called the Google Pixel Buds Pro 2. These new Pros have a Tensor A1 processor for audio processing, which should result in lower latency and better noise cancellation. I do like the new colours of these things, they look pretty great. Google is claiming that they are 27% smaller and 24% lighter to boot, which should help them feel more comfortable. And with a claimed battery life, with ANC on at 8 hours on the buds and then a further 30 on the case, these should keep you going all week. They start at $229, which is about par for the course for a high-end set of ANC buds. Let's see just how much better the Pro 2 are over the Pro 1, as on paper they are looking very good. So what are the takeaways from this? Well, that the new Pro model looks absolutely sick, the regular model looks like a market improvement, and there are things that I want to test specifically. The Tensor G4's performance, that new charging, Pixel VPN, which is interesting, Gemini Advanced, and the new 30x Super Res zoom on those new cameras. Also, the Watch 3 looks pretty great, so I wouldn't mind evaluating that either. Let me know which product you're most excited about, or tell me if you thought this entire launch presentation was a dud. And while you're down there, feel free to hit like if you enjoyed today's content and subscribe to never miss another upload. I've been Ryan Thomas, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.